You, Chris.
Okay, thank you, Scott. Now we're actually going to move on to a very timely topic. I'm going to ask the panelists to be reasonably brief answering to this topic because of time control. But the question at this point is, are there any considerations regarding the process of running background checks using social media, such as LinkedIn or Facebook or so on? Is this a legitimate, legal, and ethical avenue for obtaining information about a candidate? And I'm going to ask Jim Perry first to answer this question.
Well, once again, I get to set up Patty and her legal advice, but what I did is I went to the real experts. I went to my two daughters, age 16 and 21, and asked them this question. I also went to my wife because my wife's a power user. My wife jumped in there first, as she usually does, and pointed out that if it's online, it's part of the public domain and it's fair game. Now, Charlie, my wife, is an executive recruiter, so maybe she's a little bit biased. The two girls pointed out to me that there's privacy settings on these things, and if you don't want people to see your private things, just don't invite them in to see them. They also thought that maybe it's time they look at their Facebook and their Twitter to make sure, as the youngest girl said, I have big girl stuff on there. From my perspective, I am strongly considering this, and once again, I'm really going to be curious to hear what Patty has to say, because the reach and presence of LinkedIn and Facebook are just too powerful to ignore. If Facebook were a country, it would be the fourth largest country in the world with 250 million people. That'd be right behind the United States and just ahead of Indonesia. If LinkedIn were a country, it'd be the 28th largest country in the world. Then I actually went on to LinkedIn on the executive suite, and they asked this question, and just in a matter of, I don't know how many minutes, there was 850 comments. I'm just going to read a couple of them. The first one here is pretty much what my wife said. What could be unethical about it? It's publicly accessible information and should not be ignored if available. I like this one. Here's another. Here's the other side of that. The person says there needs to be a clear distinction between one's professional life versus personal life. Personally, I wouldn't check Facebook, Twitter, etc., blogs, discussion groups. That's akin to someone's association to a country club, church group, activism group, political party. Do we check those before making a hiring decision? Another person says the point needs to be emphasized is that one's professional capabilities have very little to do with one's indulgences in life. I would say most